Matt, welcome to Poland.
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, it's so great to have you here after 2 years.
Yeah, a bit more than 2 years, I think.
Yeah. So we started building Tentacle with you guys just around the time, early 2020.
Right at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah. And I remember you were scheduled to come over right after, kind of to kick it off with us, and that suddenly became impossible.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So 2.5 years later, well, it's wonderful to have you here and finally get to meet the people you've seen on the screen for 2.5 years.
Yes. They are not one-dimensional.
Yeah. They actually exist.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Cool. Well, first of all, I just want to say that we are so grateful that you chose to build Tentacle with us. It's really an honor professionally for me and for the whole company. We're really grateful the confidence that you had in us 2.5 years ago as our company was still young. And I think that it's been a pleasure to build it with you. I want to ask you, kind of take us back a little bit to your thought process there.
Okay, I think you have to put it in perspective of where we were in the phase of the business or the idea. The way I look at it, again, this was a personal choice with a little bit of experience in building these businesses. And this is the argumentative statement. CTOs are not necessarily known to be doers. They are known to be planners and strategists. They determine technology platforms and they design out ways in which directionally you should be heading in your business. That felt and feels premature, considering the fact that we were nothing more than a plan or an idea that was on a piece of paper. Much like many positions in a startup, it can be argued that how many people in the C-suite do you really need at the very beginning? And are you, if you are trying to fill those positions, are you filling them for the right reasons? So that's the first piece. The second piece is, like any startup, when you are not swimming in cash, every dollar you spend is so critical. And I always viewed it as every dollar that we spend should be progressing us at whatever phase we're in. If we're when I met with you, the phase we were in is we need a product. We need to develop it. The phase we're in today is much different. We're selling it into the market. We're growing our client base. So how we look at our dollars expenditures are a little bit different at that time.
Exactly.
So I'm not necessarily opposed to CTOs. I'm actually for them, but I'm for them at the right phase. We're just not there yet. And I think that most startups aren't there for quite some time.
I love that. And I always was impressed, like from our first meeting, your willingness to, and your experience has brought you to the point where you understood exactly what Tentacle needed. And efficiency is one of our values at Masterborn, and like allocation of resources to their highest and best use just really feels like at the core of what you guys have done. And I think that we have really helped you achieve that, and that is. That means a lot, and I think that I appreciate as a person who values efficiency so that's really cool. When you first what did your investors think about not having a CTO?
Couple points on that is, the first one is and if you want to know the truth, I was never questioned on it. But I think that has every bit to do with as much of who you're in business with. PSG is my partner in investing in Tentacle. They are entrepreneurial focused, and they are definitely pro-founder. When I presented the decision that it just wasn't needed because it optimizes our investment, it was a sound decision. I presented it very much the same way I presented it to you, and it seemed reasonable, and they took it. The second thing is, I'm an investor in our business as well. Why would I be making decisions that weren't in my own best interest as well? So there was a little bit of we don't need to spend much time on this topic. It makes sense. It seems reasonable. and you wouldn't be doing something, Matt, if it were not in your own best interest. So let's go with it.
Yeah, great.
And so it really has never been a topic. Who knows how long it will last for? We could blow up tomorrow and quadruple our client base and need more thinkers versus doers. And then I just need to go figure out who the best person for that position is. But right now, considering our phase, I think we made the right decision.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I love that the idea too that of having the right people at the right time of a company. I often think, and I see this with many of our other clients, is that you don't need a theoretical strategist in the beginning. When you have a PowerPoint and you have an idea and it's you have a good sense that there's product market fit, you really need executors. And I think having the right people at the right time, I always liken it to saying, like, you need people who've built MVPs from scratch in a resource constrained environment. You don't need someone who was at Google for 10 years or has in a late stage company that already had an established technology platform. Those are more managers. Like, you really need creators at this stage. And
100% agree. Yeah.
Well, Matt, this has been great. Really appreciate you sharing the time with us. And again, like, I think this really comes back to trust, and that I'm grateful for the trust that you've given in me and in Masterborn. And I look forward to many more collaborations in the future.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.